Founder of AI Asia, Mr. Colin Koh, Senior Manager of Business Development, LKH Precicon Pte. Please give him a round of applause. Thank you.
Hello. Thanks for your patience. Okay, today I promise I will not go into very deep tech. All the previous speaker already talked about a lot of technologies. I want to go into a bit more business perspective, so that will give you maybe another view of the supply chain. I was involved in selling technology to mainly manufacturing vertical, right? So all the NMC. So you know the big manufacturing company, they have a full supply chain, right? Other than the factory. Factory, of course, is our main activity. But today I'll talk about end-to-end in terms of technology deployment and how AI play a part, or what are the challenges that AI that probably you need to consider, right, before you invest in AI. I think previous speaker also mentioned about, certain area that you need to really consider before you even deploy your AI. But I mean, AI is just a technology, right? Okay, good. Okay, so as I mentioned, I was involved in supplying technology to the manufacturing for the last 35 years. So in fact, during my life of interacting with manufacturer, I came across AI in fact in 1990. If you want to call fuzzy logic as an AI, right? So during 1990, before even all this AI come out, fuzzy logic is considered one of the subset of the AI, and we apply it in manufacturing productions, right, to sort of doing quality control. So today I want to go through some of the supply chain issue, especially some framework, right? So major concern of some of the CEO, I'm sure that even you want to propose the AI investment to your boss need to allocate budget, but they also need to know why they need to spend this money, right? In terms of AI. I will talk about Industry 4.0 and the global supply chain. So the AI is just part of the Industry 4.0, right? So other than that, you have IoT, you got additive manufacturing, you got robotics, There are 10 technology in the Industry 4.0. AI is just one of the enabling technology, right? So probably you have to combine few of these technology to achieve a full value of the supply chain, to extract value from your investment. So I talk about AI in the supply chain, the major challenges, the readiness of adoption of the AI in ASEAN, right? I have spoken to a few manufacturers in Singapore, so they have also let us know that what is possible, what is not possible. Because a lot of this technology actually emerging and adopt in, let's say, US and UK and Europe. Not all the technology and use case they use can be used in Asian context, especially ASEAN context, right? Because of cultural languages, and also the majority of the network, the kind of thing, right? Yeah, do a summary and also some additional material. So, okay, if you look at this latest survey, right, for this CEO. So what they are concerned is AI. Yes, I think to them is a concern, and also the supply chain, right? So if you combine these two, become something that probably they think that they need to invest. How about Industry 4.0? Okay, Industry 4.0 has been promoted more than 10 years. So I would say the CEO, they understand what is Industry 4.0. So they are start to see how can they deploy Industry 4.0 technology into their business, right, into the supply chain, into the manufacturing. Okay, this is Industry 4.0. So if you look at Industry 4.0, there are some differences between the 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So if you look at the Industry 4.0, they are talking about cyber physical systems. So some speaker just now I mentioned about digital twin, meaning how can you replicate your physical productions or even supply chain into a digital format for you to do visualization, for you to do simulations, right? So I think this is a difference between the past 3 industry revolutions. So if you look at the supply chain side, right? In the past, I think a lot of times the supply chain we're using called push technology. Push meaning you just need to manufacture and you push through the channel and they will sell. The reason is during Industry 3.0, the demand is more than supply. So whatever you produce likely can be sold in the market, right? So this is where they are using the push technology. Industry 4.0, you know that different markets have different demand. So as a global manufacturing company, you really need to use a pull technology. What does it mean by pull? Pull meaning you get the information in the market from an end user. As you know that now everybody is using the social media, e-commerce, and when they buy things, they are not happy, they will post on the social media. They are happy, they will also post on social media. These are the data you can collect, right? So with this data, you know that, okay, which product in which region is more sellable. So this is why you pull the data from the market, plan your product and manufacturing, then you push to the channel. This is the difference between Industry 3.0 and 4.0, okay? I want to talk about global supply chain. So if you look at this so-called global supply chain, if you look at on the right-hand side, right? So you know that normally in the ASEAN context, we are doing mainly the production sides. We don't have really our own brand. We don't have really our own innovation. For instance, if you look at a very famous, let's say iPhone. You know iPhone, they don't manufacture, they outsource everything. But how they make money? They created a lot of IP. That's why if you buy a phone, normal phone, let's say from China, Oppo, and compare with iPhone, the price will be double. And this is why they are having a very, very high margin. The reason is because they are very, very innovative, right? So they are controlling the R&D, they are controlling the design, they also control the marketing and distribution. But manufacturing, they outsource. They know that they cannot have very low costs on manufacturing. That's why they outsource to Foxconn, and even Foxconn now they are moving from China to India because the assembly cost in China is getting higher, right? So this is a global supply chain. But I think there's a chance now for, let's say, ASEAN country, if we are able to leverage on technology to do innovation, go into higher level of value chain, like R&D, design, things like that. I think we can do some innovation in ASEAN, right? Because of availability of the technology that you can leverage, right? A lot of design tools and a lot of this so-called high-tech technology that you all can access to, right? Because now information is everywhere. So there's a chance that we say that, yeah, maybe ASEAN country like Thailand, maybe we should move up our value chain. Meaning we don't want to become just an assembly house. We want to even go to design product, even have your own brand, right? I think that from there, then we can have a higher margin. So there is a difference. So Industry 4.0 on the left-hand side, you know the ASEAN country is catching up, right? For instance, Thailand, you got Thailand 4.0, manufacturing 4.0. But the advanced country like Germany, they are early adopters, but doesn't mean that we cannot catch up, right? So given times, given our young and educated population in Thailand or even ASEAN, I think we can catch up this Industry 4.0 if we think that it's something that is an era that we can capitalize on. Okay, let's move into the supply chain management. So as you know, the other previous speakers have mentioned about a lot of this. So this is a typical supply chain, right? Especially in big NMC manufacturing, like let's say Apple or this. What they do is they have to start from raw materials, then go into their warehouse, incoming warehouse. They will do their productions, then they will ship it to their distribution warehouse, then go to retail and end up into consumer, right? So this is a full end-to-end supply chain. So just now I mentioned about push and pull. This is what I'm referring to, right? The old way of thing is you push everything to the retail shop. The customer will buy because the demand is higher than supply. But moving forward, you need to really look into how can you use the pull strategy, meaning pull data from the market to plan your product and your distribution. So if you look at the supply chain management, there are 4 levels, right? So for instance, if you are doing a very simple supply chain, you are looking at only inventory management, how you plan your stock. Then if you have warehouse, you need to do your warehouse management as well. Then warehouse is not enough if you have a logistic. So you end up into logistic and you go higher up into supply chain management. So these are the full spectrum in terms of from inventory management to full supply chain management. And if you look at all these circles, there are a lot of data within these circles. Even you want to do an inventory management, you must have data, right? From your, let's say, inventory systems, how you plan them, how you know that how much the stock you need to keep. Same thing for the full supply chain. You are looking at from raw material to your end customer. What is the cycle, right? Are you doing it 6 months time, or can you cut down to maybe 3 months time? So this is where the AI will play a part. Allow you to plan, allow you to do your inventory, allow you to apply a lot of the technology, like a lot of technology mentioned by the previous speaker, using robots, right? For instance, Amazon, they have a technology called Kiva, right? Kiva, I think they deploy Kiva, 30,000 of Kiva in all their supply chain, their warehouse in US. So this is where the technology will come to help the supply chain. So as I mentioned, that where the AI can be used, these are the AI that you can use in the full supply chain. You can use it on the inventory management, use it on your procurement and purchasing of raw materials, right? Your location planning, right? How you shorten the routes, how you consolidate your product, and how you do your routing and schedule for it. All this, you can do it because all the data are inside all these layers. So you can do it either layer by layer, or if you have all the layer data, you are able to really have a full AI supply chain inside your enterprise. So this is an ideal case, but not all the company are able to cover all the layers. So it depends whether you are a distribution house, you are a retailer, or you are a manufacturer, right? So it depends on what kind of business you are in. Then you apply the AI into respective layer. So this is why I say that there are many opportunities, but also a lot of challenges, because different layer you have different data, and data quality is very important, and types of data you select also very important, because that will affect your AI outcome. Okay, this is a typical Industry 4.0 ecosystems, right? So if you look at it, from the left side to the right side, you can apply a lot of Industry 4.0 technology. So for instance, AI is one of them. You put sensor, you put camera. I think a lot of previous speakers using that you use camera to detect human, to detect defective. You can use robotics, right? How to make sure that these robotics are able to move in the warehouse by themselves, right? How they plan the route by themselves. All this can be done by using the AI technology. So of course you know that IoT is playing a very major part, right? Because if you want to collect a lot of data, you can use a lot of IoT technology, meaning you can plant many sensors in your warehouse or supply chain, and all these sensors will actually deliver a lot of data. So if you have all these relevant data, enough data points, right? Possible in real times. So when I say real time, meaning when a sensor detect some of the data, they will send immediately. So you can use the cloud to collect all this data together. So of course infrastructure come in, right? So for instance, let's say if you have full coverage of 5G, then you have a full end-to-end supply chain, because everything can be done, sent by 5G and almost in real times. But if in your warehouse, you may not have 5G inside the warehouse, you still can use Wi-Fi. But Wi-Fi, when you deploy Wi-Fi, you have to be very careful, right? Because Wi-Fi had limited in terms of number of points, right? And also Wi-Fi, a lot of blind spot. So when you think that you can cover the whole warehouse by using the Wi-Fi, it's not possible, because inside your warehouse you have a lot of rack. And some of these racks consist of metal, things like that. They will actually derate your volume and also the speed. And sometimes even blind spot, meaning when you go to certain area, you want to collect the data and you want to send out, it's not possible because there's a blind spot. So you got to plan, even you use Wi-Fi, you got to plan when to collect your data, when to send your data. So this is require a lot of planning, a lot of on the ground testing. So not only just deploy technologies, you have to plan carefully. Of course, cybersecurity is one of the areas that you need to concern, because some of this data can be very sensitive data. For instance, let's say your warehouse consists of very high value items. So this data can, if somebody are able to hack in, then it becomes a security issue, right? Or even some of the data point, people when they are able to hack in, they can change the data, change the data format and the content. Then your data you get into your AI framework is not accurate. So these are a few considerations you really need to take care when you do your planning. Okay, I think this is one of the latest report by McKinsey. So you're talking about the AI value creation in various sectors. So you can see that transport and logistics is one of the area that you are able to generate a lot of value. The reason is very simple. I give example. Let's say any product you buy in the market, whether in shopping mall or retail, almost from statistics, almost 20 to 40% of the cost of your product actually go into supply chain. If you are able to use AI to reduce that, meaning you're reducing the cost, because let's say from 40% you are able to reduce to, let's say, 15%, meaning your cost is down tremendously. So what is the advantage? Meaning you can sell either cheaper product to the customer, which is customer will be happy, or you have a higher profit. Okay, so I think these are the consideration. I would say that in ASEAN context, not all the technology you use in Europe you can deploy here. You have to consider all these data privacy regulatory framework, technology, infrastructure, cost, things like that. So these are considerations you need to really take into account when you deploy your AI strategies in your supply chain. Okay, so this is one of the framework we developed in Singapore in terms of how you determine your index in your supply chain. You can go to, let's say, you can do a search called Siri Singapore, right? This is the framework we developed for a manufacturing plant. So Industry 3.0 and Industry 4.0, the difference is Industry 3.0 only look at the factory. Industry 4.0, you're looking to end-to-end supply chain. And this is where your AI can apply both in the factory as well as the supply chain, right? To optimize it, to reduce cost, to maybe increase your quality. Okay, so this is called vertical integration within the factory. Then you have the horizontal integration. This is called supply chain integration. Okay, so according to some of the report that we have generated in Singapore, the logistic, in fact, there are a lot of room to play in terms of the applying of Industry 4.0. So there are a lot of opportunities. Okay, so these are the index, digital readiness in ASEAN. So if you look at some of the ASEAN countries, there's some room to catch up. I think it's still never late, right? So I think with the government support, with the business community, I think we should be able to bring up the digital adoption index, right, in each country. So as I said, that I think the Industry 4.0 consists of process, technology, and people. You have to train your people. So your people, when you are trained, they are able to streamline your process. Then when you want to improve further, this is where the technology comes in. Don't invest in technology straight away. Look at your people. Do your people have the competency to even maintain the AI system? If not, you don't spend the money because you cannot sustain. Okay, so this is what we call it the smart factory, smart operation, and the smart enterprise. So this is an ultimate framework for the Industry 4.0. Okay, what are the situations you shouldn't even consider invest in AI? So for instance, if you have simple solution to get job done, why are you looking at AI? Because it's not cheap, right? If you don't have enough data, also don't apply AI, because you don't have enough data, your framework or this algorithm just don't work. And what's the long-term plan? If you don't have a long-term plan, also don't invest in AI. If your cost is outweigh your benefit, right? So your ROI is not there, also I don't think you need to even consider AI, right? And also lastly, if you don't have people to maintain, I think you shouldn't invest in AI unless you can have a very outsourcing company that are able to support you. Okay, these are the additional data. These are so-called the material you can use all online, right? So I have some material in terms of Industry 4.0, and I have maybe about 30 newsletters that some of them are talking about supply chain, some of them are talking about manufacturing, right? So hopefully that if you got anything, they can also always contact me. Okay, I think that's my presentation. Thank you very much. Any questions so far? I think everyone is waiting for the tea break. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.